finally some good news for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 fans. Day 1 DLC is gone. Removed. Allegedly. We still don't know for 100% because it is Paradox Entertainment that we're talking about, and Paradox is easily one of the, if not the most greedy, vile, abusive company when it comes to nickel and diming the player base and making expansions that are not worth their money. But yet again, this proves one thing, boys, that complaining as a consumer works. And this is what I have been advocating for such a long time. If you see something bad happening in a game, you don't say, oh, well, this is not great, but I trust the developers. They're gonna do the right. No, they're not. No, they're not. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about anyone. They just want to milk and dime you, okay? Let's stop pretending that the average developer cares about the player base. They don't. The typical average developer is a virtue signal political pundit at this point, pretty much, sadly. So the only thing that actually works is complaining about the game. And it worked. People said that they're not gonna buy Bloodlines 2 because it's an absolute farce and a joke. And look at that. It's getting results. No one pre-ordered the game? Instantaneous panic. Beautiful. This is what I like to see, boys. So pat yourselves on the back. Remember, never let anyone shame you about the fact that, oh, you're mistreating the developers. How about the developers stop mistreating us? And then we're going to talk about how we treat the developers. How about that for a start? I think that would be fair, no? I think that would be very fair, in fact. In any case, at least we finally have some good news. Overall, well, Bloodlines 2 is still effectively it's going to be a complete failure. There's no way this is going to work. Again, this shouldn't even be Bloodlines 2. This should be just some kind of different Vampire the Masquerade type of game because it has nothing to do with Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines in the first place. It's just effectively skin soothing.
Well, there's actually been news on the Bloodlines 2 front, and in some sense positive news. Specifically, I'm referring to the fact that Paradox has decided to walk back their day 1 €30 DLC to include the clans Toreador and Lasombra. Of course, the big scandal.
By the way, look at this. Can you even tell that this is supposed to be a woman? Look, there's no way. This is the only time that I can barely tell that this is a woman because, you know, openness. Oh, but man, this is sad.
And Lasombra. Of course, the big scandal here was primarily that traditionally Toreador was a normal clan to be included in the base game because it was always there. And it's kind of ridiculous to charge €30 for 2 extra clans.
Dude, Ventru is gonna be definitely what I'm doing. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, it is what it is. No, actually, no. Ventru is not. No. Ventru, I mean, the ability to, 41% is really cool and whatnot, but probably not. But it does look very appealing.
2 extra clans, one of which should have been in the base game anyway, and then doing it on day 1 on top of everything else. And a lot of people are upset by this, and I think justifiably so. It's a ridiculous business practice. And now that has changed because they've released their World of Darkness trailer for Vampire Bloodlines 2, which you can see running in the background in this video, and you can also see the different abilities and the different looks of the different clans of the respective Fire. Fire, as many have said, is a ridiculous name. Fire, why would you call?
Man, I actually wonder how much modern day isms are gonna be in the game because there's no fucking way you call yourself Fire. Okay, that's literally too edgy for me, even if we're talking about Infamous the Second Son, okay? That's even a bit too edgy if we're talking about something like that.
Your Vampire Fire. It's too bad you can't change that name, but whatever. Now, it goes without saying that Paradox did this not because they're particularly magnanimous or generous or they really thought they did wrong by the customer base, but because they might have realized that this was a pretty crappy business move on their part. I mean, charging people €30, which is more than 30 USD.
Bro, okay, listen. You're completely wrong on that. Paradox is Again, Paradox could actually be more evil than EA when it comes to microtransactions and shit. Paradox just milks the player base, okay? They are gonna give you DLC after DLC. Some are gonna actually be kind of worth it, but most of them aren't. Paradox is a horrible company that just abuses every bad business practice that there is, honestly. It's just the facts.
By the way, which is why henceforth I've decided to price everything in my videos in euros because it is more expensive than the American equivalent. Well, they know that's very expensive. They know people were affronted by this. And they also probably realize that that affronting, unfortunately, would cut into their sales because...
Wait, actually, I haven't seen this before. Bro,
And they
is
also
this a nightclub? Are you
probably
studying?
realize that that
Yeah.
affronting, unfortunately, would cut into
Well, I mean, they tried, I guess. They tried.
their sales because what's more likely, if you think about it logically, will people buy a base game, including both of the 2 extra clans, for the normal price? Or will people buy...
The normal price of this game is already too much. I am not okay giving more than $40 for this game, and that's even being pretty generous, honestly.
the base game, excluding 2 of the clans, one of which traditionally was a normal standard clan to be included in the base game. And then on top of that, DLC that costs 30 euros. Now, yeah, it might have been the case that people could have spent 30 euros, maybe a select few, whales, if you want to call them that, for this game. But probability dictating all things being equal, probably not. Very few people would have done this. Now, by making this move, Paradox has ensured, at least probabilistically speaking, that more people will pay for this game, at least the base game, because...
I really wonder if they're just gonna cut out something else to put in as day one DLC that they just don't advertise for. I really wonder.
they think it's more reasonable. Now, a lot of people are kind of giving credit to Paradox for this move, and as I just said, this is just purely born out of greed or desire to make profit and just business sense, to be honest. So why should I really give them credit? It was a pretty bad move in the first place, and I don't think that simply reacting in a quote-unquote positive sense to a lot of criticism and negative feedback when it's something you should have done in the first place necessarily warrants praise. So I'm not going to praise them for this. It's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, it's at least nice now that you can play with Sombra and Toreador in the base game. And I'm still very much on the fence as to whether I want to get this and play this, because I just don't have the vampire vibe from this. Yes, I accept the fact that this game is an action game. It could be super fun just in terms...
Listen, my opinion still hasn't changed that this could be a decent vampire power fantasy if they pull it off, right? There's a chance. But at the end of the day, there's two things. One thing is definitely certain. This is not going to sell well. Bloodlines 2 is effectively sabotaged at this point. The sales for this are not going to be good. I think people are at least in this case going to pirate it, I would assume, unlike Borderlands 4 where people are not even willing to pirate that slop. But for Bloodlines 2, I think at least people are going to be willing to pirate it. But it's not going to be a success. And also, I mean, it's really hard to play a game like this that's supposed to be a linear story. Because again, this is not open world. One of the biggest problems about this game is the fact that we know that this is not open world in the slightest. You kind of have like 5 streets you can go down. Whoop-de-doop-de. I know. Amazing. 10 out of 10. Take my money, Paradox, please. So, in a game where you don't have any open world, in Borderlands 4 at least you can kind of ignore all the wokeness and DEI and box checking because you have an open world and it's a looter shooter. But in a game like Bloodlines 2 that's supposed to be about roleplay, and well, congratulations, you're a 200-year-old woke twink vampire, bruv. People are not gonna want it. Because this is something that role players are gonna play. This is like hardcore fucking role play, vampire style. People are not gonna play this for a power fantasy. I think it could actually succeed as a power fantasy, to be completely fair. But other than that, I don't know. It's not succeeding as anything else, and I don't think people are gonna be able to, look past the fact that you're still at every moment some kind of vampire twink. That's just not gonna be fun for people.
Of gameplay, but historically, and I just think in keeping with Bloodlines and the World of Darkness, it's not just about gameplay. It's not even primarily about gameplay. It's about choices you make, your builds, this sort of thing. And that's just not in the game, which could be fine. For all we know, it could turn out to be a really good game for what it is, although I kind of doubt that. Now, as you can see, this trailer displays various forms of Fire, the protagonist, with different faces and different looks and what have you. But there's this strange, consistent face no matter what you decide to do, apparently, in terms of character design. So the hair might look different, the jewelry, i.e. the earrings, might look different, the tattoos might look different, the eye color might be different, all these things might be different, but the figure of Fire still carries with him/her this very weird,
Sad.
androgynous, and just unappealing look no matter how you slice it.
Oh, weird unappealing is being generous. Fire is literally a goddamn damn creature. It's not even close. It is awful. And the last time we talked about it, I actually used that male and female characters side by side for the thumbnail. People had no fucking idea. Like, there's no way to tell if you're a male or female.
And I personally can't really get over it. To me, aesthetics, as I've said many times in many videos, is a pretty important thing in video games.
Especially in something like this. I mean, we can forgive aesthetics of your own character and fucking banner lords, okay? Yeah, okay, your character looks like they're a failed abortion, so what? But here, I mean, that matters a lot. That matters a lot.
And why have a kind of character creator, ostensibly at least, i.e. the ability to modulate?
Because they wanted to give people the right, but they understood, wait a minute, if we give people the right to change things, people are not gonna go with the default character, and this is probably a virtue signal.
And change.
Well, this can literally be only a virtue signal, which is amazingly trash.
Character's appearance to a limited degree and not have any ability to shape the face. Now, the best case scenario here might be that for whatever reason, this is the standard Fire they're showing off to the world. I don't think that's likely, meaning you will have options to shape and change the face and the way your Fire looks. But I kind of doubt that, and I don't think that's likely. Now, you could say, since this game is first-person action, that it doesn't matter, and I suppose that somewhat mitigates this issue, I guess. But that's a terrible cope at the end of the day, to be perfectly honest. I mean, you don't like the way the character looks, so the fact that you don't have to look at the character in a first-person game makes it kind of better. Yeah, kind of, sort of, I guess. But that just doesn't do it for me. Now, some final commentary on this, because as I said, I'm on the fence. I don't really know. The action could be good. It could be fun. I don't expect this to be a knock it out of the park type of game. We'll see.
No way.
The final commentary, though, entails the entire IP of Vampire the Masquerade in general. Because there are a lot of people who are saying, well, we should support this game because if it does really well...
No. The IP's not going anywhere. In general, we don't have enough vampire stuff. We don't have enough werewolf stuff in any game. So yeah, this is not gonna work out. Stop it. Okay, that's just how it be, boys. You don't need to support this. You're gonna get your next vampire game no matter what. Just someone else is gonna make it. So hopefully someone good. If you're gonna support Paradox and their atrocity against the Vampire Masquerade franchise, you're literally just telling them, hey, your thing that you made, we don't like it, but we don't care, we're gonna buy your slop anyway, so the next time you can make something ass shit or worse, we don't care, we're gonna support you anyway, we're idiots. No, you never support this thing. There's a reason you say vote with your wallet. Because it works. Imagine, if everyone was positive about Bloodlines 2, we would be getting day one DLC and suddenly the game would probably skyrocket in price to $150 or some shit like that. Like, that would be the reality that we live in. It's sad.
Paradox might be encouraged to empower somebody else, endorse somebody else to make Bloodlines 3 or the equivalent, some new vampire game set in the world of darkness. And it is
Eh,
true that Paradox stated last year that they're going to go hands off when it comes to World of Darkness. They're not interested in RPGs, and they've decided to delegate.
True, Paradox does not do RPGs, so it is what it is. But yeah. Like the video, boys. And if you're on a mobile device, please press the hype button. It greatly helps out the channel, and I appreciate it greatly. And if you think stuff like this is important and more people need to know about it, just, again, like the video. It's the greatest and easiest way to guarantee that more people will be aware of this situation if you think it matters. Anyway, thanks for watching, and that was Spell and Shield 10 out of 10. Bye!